Alrighty everyone, welcome back. It is now the very middle of January of 2023, and as we get very close to, of course, the upcoming Star Wars TV shows, such as Mando Season 3 and Star Wars Ahsoka, a lot of fans are really skeptical about what Kathleen Kennedy is developing when it comes to both the Acolyte and Skeleton Crew, and how it really is gonna pretty much detach everything away from George Lucas's vision and more. This is Mike Zero. Subscribe if you're new and like this video to see future Star Wars updates. I'm also on Twitter at Mike01. I thank you all so very much for the kind and great support. Now, one thing that John and Dave are heavily working on is Mando Season 4. This is a project that they've been working on for over 6 to 7 months now to really kind of just really expand the Mandoverse and to bring the Mandalorian story full circle. Even Favreau came forward and said a couple of weeks ago that if and only if Mando 4 proves to be wildly successful, will they expand to a Season 5 and 6 and end things there. But in the meantime, Season 4 is aimed to conclude the show. It has a lot of revelations involving Grogu, Din Djarin, and other famous characters as well in there. However, when it brings us to what is going on with Jon Favreau and his point of view on certain things is actually pretty surprising, and one of which has a lot to do with actress Gina Carano, who, as you all know, got fired back in February of 2021. It's crazy how time just flies. That was basically almost 2 years ago. And where we stand right now is that Favreau has been really working on a lot of plans to bring her back in Mando Season 4. That's not going to arrive, by the way, until the end of 2024 and quite possibly the beginning of 2025, if they're going to follow the same route as Mando 3. Now that brings us to exactly what Favreau had to say about rehiring Gina Carano and more. Now, with Jon Favreau currently focused on his new and upcoming shows that have, of course, to do with the Mandoverse mainly, he eventually took part in an interview when talking about actress Gina Carano and her future and the character Cara Dune. Favreau went on to state the following: "It really hurt us when we heard that what happened to Gina back in 2021. It was a shock, honestly, and I had all these plans to use her in Season 3 that was going to be incredible. I feel it should have been handled more professionally when she got let go, but thankfully I can say that we are still talking and we have some great ideas that I really can't disclose right now since we are still in the planning stages, but we are working things out. We really would love her back in this story, and we are working our way toward bringing Cara Dune back to the center of this show that I had the great chance to create." Now let me just pause here quick for a second. Now, we already know that Gina's been in the talks with John and Dave for a very long time now, and how she is in that process of getting rehired again for Mando 4. Originally, they were going to use deleted scenes from Season 2 to be thrown in Season 3, but that got scrapped. And so now the main plan is to get her back for Season 4 because, potentially, Mando Season 4 may very well be the last one, and they want to end things on a good note that's going to really bring the fans together. And, whether you like Gina or not, when you look at her and when you look at what she talks about to the fans, she's just an absolute sweetheart. She's really down to earth, and really as a person, she's really not all that bad. Now, sure, she posted things on Twitter that may not agree with everybody, but a lot of those things were thrown out of context in some scenarios. And we have some people out there that are way too far in really kind of just saying how she absolutely deserves everything that she got and deserves to have the worst life in the world. People actually say things like that she deserves to have a terrible life, and that she deserves to suffer, stuff like that. Terrible stuff, and anybody that says anything like that, I think really needs to dial things back quite drastically. Now, when we look at Gina Carano, obviously everything related to what's been going on with Mando Season 4 and how she's still in the talks. We already know that multiple storyboards have been created by Jon Favreau and Dave Filoni for her character's design, wearing, of course, a ponytail, brand new set of armor, and a brand new weapon, where she's going to have a lot of scenes side by side of the famous characters like Luke, Leia and other characters out there. And yes, they are working on bringing Leia into the mix in the Mandoverse, similar to how they did this in Rogue One, a Star Wars story, so to speak. Moving on. So he goes on to say, so yeah, we talk almost every week about this, and I got some pretty surprising plans for how we could use Cara Dune in a future season. Additionally, separate from what Favreau stated, this alludes to how Gina is in the process of getting hired for Mando Season 4. Multiple storyboards, like I say, have already been illustrated by Favreau, in which Cara Dune has scenes with Luke on a battlefield to face Thrawn's new forces, and how Luke faces a dark Jedi in one of the episodes. Kathleen Kennedy, however, wants nothing to do with Gina, but that's out of her control as of right now. So, look, we have a lot of things going on where people have different views of Gina, and that's fine. Listen, everybody's going to have their opinions. You're not going to change that, and you got to respect people's opinions. But like I said before, there are people that really have extreme views that say, like I said, that she deserves everything bad in the world, and just awful things like that. That just does not really deserve any kind of attention at all. So, listen, when we look at Gina and what she put on Twitter, that's everybody else's opinions. You know, you have your overall viewpoints on that, that's perfectly fine. And that's all there is to that, because let's face it, there's no changing people's mindsets. You can't change people. It's really just pointless to even try. So, the thing that I like most about this is how John and Dave are realizing that a large portion of the fans want Gina back. They're working on bringing her back in Season 4. The reason why they dialed back things on the whole rehiring plan is that now John is kind of unclear if there's going to be a Season 5 and 6 or not, and he's not sure exactly when he wants to throw her in to Season 4, 5, and or 6, who knows, but it's looking likely that Mando is going to end at the 4th one. So, with that being all said, guys, you know, when we look at Gina Carano and the character of Cara Dune, and how there's a lot of illustrations and storyboards that have already been created by Favreau, mind you, for Mando 4, things are really shaping up, and Favreau really kind of put things out there that it is working in motion. It is actually in the process. You know, it is going to eventually present itself. And so I think at the end of the day, you know, it all really dwindles down to Gina. Is she going to decide, you know, whether or not she wants to actually portray that role like how she did in Season 3, or does she want to evolve the character? We already know that she is pretty much solid on coming back at this point for Season 4, because John and Dave are welcoming her with open arms, and Kathleen Kennedy no longer has any kind of control over those shows, so that's a plus. That's also a big, you know, attractive piece to bring her back in her mindset, without a doubt. And the other thing is this, is that Disney CEO Bob Iger is really desperate to really just get the fans back, to win the fans back. So overall, guys, you know, drop a comment below. Let me know what you guys have to say about all of this below in the comments, and if you guys did enjoy the content for today, make sure to drop a thumbs up on this video to support the channel. I thank you all so very much for the kind support, and I'll catch you guys next time.
Gun in hand, we are alone again. From night to moon, we hear them moans again.